The shutdown of the Hopkins manufacturing plant here in Miami is leaving many without work. I'm Kenny Foreman, and I'll have more on that coming up.
Plus, how 2 wounded deputies are healing with help from their law enforcement family. And how a new electric truck at PSU is creating training opportunities for automotive future technicians.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Hundreds of workers have lost or are losing their jobs in Kansas and Oklahoma after federal prosecutors charged the owners of Hopkins Manufacturing with fraud. In Miami, more than 80 will be out of work. This is KOAM News. I'm Tanya Bach. Federal authorities say a multi-billion-dollar fraud scheme bankrupted parent company First Brands, an auto parts company. Founder and CEO Patrick James and brother Edward are accused of wire fraud, bank fraud, money laundering, managing a continuing financial crimes enterprise, and more. KOAM's Kenny Foreman spoke with officials in Miami about the local impact.
Earlier this week, Hopkins Manufacturing announced that it would be closing down multiple plants, including the one right here in Miami, leaving its employees out of work.
It was tough news to handle. We've been working closely with those employees. The HR manager, she contacted me and we had kind of a long conversation about that, but it's very tough news. A lot of these people are now in a really bad, tough situation.
When the news became official, Oklahoma Works got right to it to help the impacted employees get back on track.
I'm very proud of our community and the surrounding communities for how we've kind of rallied and gathered together to help these employees. So a lot of companies are hiring, they're actively hiring, so we've been able to make contact with a bunch of those.
For Miami Mayor Bless Parker, the news is disappointing, but he's confident the property can be put to good use in the future.
Anytime somebody loses their jobs, it's an economic impact. But as a city, we had no control over what happened. This was a total mismanagement by a corporation that is being handled through a court system at this point. Not really much we can do about that. But now we have an 86,000 square foot facility that's open.
And though he understands many might be hurting at the moment, he's determined to do his part in helping the city respond.
Something like this happens that's totally out of our control, whether it be the employees, whether it be the city officials, or the community as a whole. We can't let ourselves be dragged down by this. I know that's easy for me to say because I still have a job, but don't let this get you down. Good things are coming. Everything happens for a reason.
In Miami, Kenny Foreman at KOAM News.
A number of employers are expected at a hiring fair tomorrow at the Miami Civic Center with the goal of helping the impacted employees find new work. Well, meteorologist Austin Stantz joins us now with a first look at weather.
Yes, thank you. We are going to see a mild evening tonight. Great stargazing opportunity out there this evening. No clouds to be found even as we head into the overnight. Check out how mild it is out there. 51 in Joplin by midnight. Now heading into those overnight hours, we're heading into the 40s. But check this out. Heading out the door tomorrow morning, cloud cover stays away. Sunny skies out there. 47 by 8 into the 60s by 10 o'clock. We're heading into the 70s tomorrow with a high temperature right around 75 degrees. So tomorrow's going to be a nice day. That warmer trend continues as we head into Saturday, but then notice the drop off into the end of the weekend. I'm tracking our next weather maker, which could bring us some widespread rainfall coming up. We're going to time all that out for you.
All right, thanks, Austin. While the Christian County Sheriff's Office prepares to lay 2 deputies to rest, 2 other lawmen continue to recover from their gunshot wounds. Christian County deputy and another from Webster County were shot in a gun battle near Reed Spring this week. Emma McDarris sat down with both departments to get an update on their injuries and separate roads to recovery.
They displayed a lot of courage the other night in the middle of some pretty serious combat and battle. Because that's what it was.
Deputy Josh Wall from Christian County and Deputy Austin McCall from Webster County were both taken to the hospital with severe injuries after Tuesday morning's gunfight. Webster County Sheriff Roy Cole has been visiting Deputy McCall every day after he suffered 4 gunshot wounds.
He's a very brave man. He's also a goofball and quick-witted. But I think more importantly, he's the type of person that makes everybody around them feel better about themselves, and that's the kind of people that we need around here. That's the kind of people we need in the world. He's non-critical by nature, but he's also highly intelligent and has discernment.
Christian County Sheriff Brad Cole has also been visiting his deputy every day and says Josh Wall is doing well after being shot in the upper leg.
He's actually doing extremely well. He's underwent a pretty major surgery, reconstruction, and he is kind of limited on his movement at this point in time.
He says Wall is uplifting, kind, and always focuses on serving others first, even through his recovery.
He has more concern for everybody else than he does for himself, and that's just Josh.
Both sheriffs say they will continue to support these deputies throughout the recovery and past it and encourage others to do as well.
There will be non-stop continued support for him. We will make sure that he has what he needs for hopefully a full recovery.
And it's up to us to show him that we'll do anything we can for him.
Well, the funerals for deputies Gabriel Ramirez and Michael Highslope will be held Saturday at James River Church in Ozark, Missouri at 1 p.m. Missouri Southern students now train with the same high-tech equipment they use as police officers and forensic investigators. The university cut the ribbon today on its new Public Safety and Forensics Institute. Students get hands-on experience with fingerprint scanners, ballistics cameras, crime scene 360-degree scanners, an impaired driving simulator, and a use of force simulator. The state funded half of the $250,000 project. The university matched the rest. Program leaders say the real-world technology gives their students an edge.
I guess what I would say is that we encourage students to come and take a look at our program. We would like to highlight the difference between our program and some others that are out there. We think that we have a much greater program than a lot of them.
The goal is preparing students for careers in law enforcement and forensics by giving them the same tools they'll use on the job. Coming up, does Hillary have any Epstein secrets?
During a closed-door interview, Hillary Clinton told lawmakers she had no information on Jeffrey Epstein's crimes before her husband testifies tomorrow. I'm Rebecca Castor with the details just ahead.
But up first, Instagram tackles teen safety with new parental alerts for concerning searches. Community Health Center of Southeast Kansas is out with a new community health needs assessment, spelling out the biggest health challenges facing people in Southeast Kansas and Northeast Oklahoma. Every 3 years, CHC SEK listens to patients and studies local data to understand what's getting in the way of good health, from poverty and provider shortages to housing, childcare, and social isolation. The report shows higher rates of chronic disease and mental health issues in the region and calls for new collaborative solutions. Instagram is launching new safety alerts to help parents monitor their teenagers' online activity. The social media platform will now notify parents when teens repeatedly search for content related to suicide and self-harm. The new feature rolls out next week. Fox's Kelly Sabiri explains how it works.
Instagram announcing new safety features for when teens repeatedly search suicide and self-harm terms. Instagram's parent company Meta issued a statement that said in part, quote, "These alerts are designed to make sure parents are aware if their teen is repeatedly trying to search for this content and to give them the resources they need to support their teen." They require that both parents and teenagers enroll in Instagram's parental supervision tools. Parents who receive the alerts will see a message explaining their teens concerning Instagram search habits.
You can turn on parental controls, and now their idea is that if your teen is talking about suicidal or self-harm thoughts on their platform, it's going to notify you as a parent.
Meta says the new safety features analyze teen search history to identify terms related to self-harm. Also proactively notify parents of concerning searches, send alerts via text, email, and in-app notifications, and provide expert resources to help navigate sensitive conversations.
Ironically, Meta is also saying in a study that parental controls don't do a lot. So I'm confused why they're making this move, but nonetheless, from a tech standpoint, parents do need to wake up.
The Instagram alerts will begin rolling out next week in the U.S., UK, Australia, and Canada. In Los Angeles, Kelly Saberi, Fox Business.
Obesity is driving another troubling trend. Nearly 1 in 3 American adolescents now has prediabetes or type 2 diabetes. A Chicago study of kids 10 to 19 found waist-to-height ratio is the strongest predictor for developing these high-risk conditions. And there's good news for adults living with type 2 diabetes. A Harvard study finds that pairing GLP-1 drugs with healthy lifestyle changes can sharply cut the risk of major heart problems like heart attack and stroke, far more than using the drugs alone. And the American Heart Association says rates of heart disease and stroke are rising among women and girls. A new study projects 6 in 10 women will have some form of cardiovascular disease by the year 2050, up from 5 in 10 in 2020, driven largely by rising blood pressure tied to obesity. Austin is next with a complete look at your forecast. And later, National FFA Week brings students and supporters together in Neosho.
Here's your Skywatch weather forecast from the trusted Roper Kia Weather Center.
Well, we've got some minor changes in the forecast just over the next 48 hours, but some bigger ones down the road as we head into this weekend. Let's talk about the next 48 hours. Things are looking good out there for us as we head into this evening. Even those overnight hours tonight, temperatures into the 50s by midnight, down into the 40s as we hit those overnight hours. With those clear skies out there, we could see some cooler air begin to move in. So notice some temperatures in the 30s, some areas in the low to mid 40s. So we're going to be in a comfortable spot, but we'll see some variations in temperatures without any cloud cover to blanket us or contain any of that heat. So for tonight, this evening, your moon phase forecast, it's in its waxing gibbous phase, about 74% visible. Temperatures going to be right around 42 tonight. Comfortable evening out there. Sky's going to be clear. Our next full moon, March 3rd on a Tuesday. Now, heading into tomorrow, take a look at this. We're starting in the 40s, but by 9 o'clock, we're already in the 50s. Heading into the later morning hours, we're breaking into the 60s, but it doesn't stop there. Hello, 70s by the afternoon hours out there. It's going to be pretty nice. Now, sunshine for a majority of our Friday. A few scattered clouds work their way in as we head into Friday evening. An isolated drizzle or two can't be ruled out. We're going to have some moisture in. All that warm air is entering the 4 states region because all of us nice and warm even as we head into that 9 o'clock hour. Look at us still in the 50s and 60s across the region there. So some scattered cloud cover, but by the time we head into Saturday, a lot of this begins clearing out. Saturday going to be mostly sunny. 77 out there. My goodness, it's going to be a great weekend. But then look at the temperature drop. 53 on Sunday with some widespread rainfall. Everybody's going to get in on the rain for us. Let's talk about it and time this out for you. So here we are, Saturday night. Few of these showers could start creeping their way in. This is not where the widespread event begins. It's going to hold off until we get into Sunday. Notice cloud cover expands across the area. Here's our weather maker off to our south, begins moving in by the time we're heading into Sunday afternoon and evening. And notice the darker greens, maybe even a light yellow in there at times, indicating some heavier rainfall. But also notice off to the north, we have snow. We're riding a temperature gradient. Look at Kansas City, 33. Bella Vista, 52. So we're riding a very narrow temperature gradient. So some areas could be on the cooler side. Most of this going to be rain. Could there be a light wintry mix off to our far northwest? Slightly, but not anticipated. We're expecting this to be mostly rainfall for us here in the 4 states region, but all of us getting in on it, anywhere from half an inch up to about 1.5 inches. Let's talk about your 10-day forecast and what you can expect ahead. Take a look at this. Here we are heading into Monday, a little bit cooler, 50 degrees, 59 Tuesday. Look at those thunderstorm chances by the middle and late next week.
All right, thanks, Austin. Neosho FFA students served up gratitude along with breakfast this morning. The chapter hosted its annual Businessmen's Breakfast during National FFA Week to thank local supporters and donors. Chapter members cooked, served food, and visited with guests who have contributed to the program throughout the school year. For FFA members, this week is the highlight of the year.
This is such an exciting week. I look forward to it every year. We have so many fun activities planned, and it's amazing to see how every chapter around us participates and see how they celebrate this awesome week.
Well, in Neosho, FFA Week wraps up tomorrow with Dress Like Your Ag Teacher Day. Coming up next, tax season is here and experts are excited. The rest of us, well, not so much. but why not, as this season brings new deductions and potential for larger refunds. While taxes can be tedious, economic experts say the prospects of getting back higher returns could be a motivator to help get you started filing. But as Fox News' Kevin Ureski reports, be careful what tools you use to get the job done.
It's that time of year again.
My main focus is tax. So this is an exciting time for me, definitely.
And while experts like J.T. Egan of Purdue University may be happy, it's safe to assume most Americans are begrudgingly making their way through this tax season.
This is just one of those procrastination monsters that will crop up. That if you can put it to the back burner, people will put it to the back burner.
But even though there's some time left until the April 15th deadline, Professor Egan advises filing early, citing how some people may qualify for larger returns, which may require more paperwork.
A lot of folks are going to expect potentially bigger refunds, which is pretty cool for them. So anybody that is receiving overtime pay or tip income, there's even an extra senior deduction this year that wasn't there in previous years. If you work overtime, you may need to go back to your employer and ask for a breakout of my overtime pay versus my regular time pay.
There's many ways to file, from doing it yourself online or by going to a tax professional.
The other way would be to go to a VITA site. And these are volunteers that have training in tax that assist low-income households and actually prepare their returns for free.
But when it comes to using artificial intelligence for help, Egan warns it could provide inaccurate results.
And I think the reason why is the body of knowledge is just too large and the tax law updates too frequently.
Kevin Uretsky, Fox News.
The FCC is asking the public for comments on the shift of live sports from broadcast television to streaming. The agency says it wants to understand the current marketplace and how it impacts consumers. According to the FCC, NFL games aired on 10 different services in 2025. It could have cost a consumer over $1,500 to watch all the games. You can submit comments through March 27th. Saputo Cheese is recalling some Great Value cottage cheese because it was not fully pasteurized. The product was sold at Walmart stores in at least 24 states. No one's reported sick, but unpasteurized dairy can be risky, especially for kids and older adults, so you should return it for a full refund. Coming up next, taking a midweek pause to create a mini masterpiece at the Spiva Center for the Arts. Well, visitors paint a picture of relaxation tonight at the Spiva Center for the Arts. This is the third time the gallery has hosted an art and wellness night, drawing visitors looking to slow down and get creative. The free drop-in event let people try guided slow viewing methods to engage with artwork in new ways. And visitors also created mini masterpieces to wear as buttons.
I think a lot of times when you come into a gallery space, you can see fine art on the walls and think, well, I can't create that. And that's not what art has to be. It doesn't have to be a masterpiece. It doesn't have to be something you want to hang up on the wall, but it just gives you an opportunity to express what you may be feeling in that moment or move through some things that maybe you didn't know you were feeling.
Families, couples, and friends strolled through the galleries on the second floor during Spiva's extended hours. The gallery stayed open until 8 p.m. for the special wellness event. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way.
Some Homeland Security employees are set to receive half their pay this week as the DHS funding fight continues on Capitol Hill. I'm Mike Emanuel in Washington with more on that story coming up.
And Hillary Clinton tells lawmakers she never met Epstein or visited his properties.
You're watching the 4 states' most watched news.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. Negotiations to end the Homeland Security shutdown appear to be stalled, with Republicans and Democrats growing further apart. This leaves thousands of DHS employees in limbo, worrying about their next paycheck. Fox News Chief Washington correspondent Mike Emanuel has the story.
Do we see a future for there's a path forward? I genuinely don't know.
Still no deal on Capitol Hill to end the Homeland Security shutdown, and the gap between what Democrats want and what Republicans are willing to give appears to be getting wider.
I think what we're asking for is very reasonable. We want the law to be enforced. We want ICE agents and DHS agents to follow the same laws that law enforcement agents follow.
They want to make this all about ICE, but it's so much more than that. It is. It's FEMA, it's TSA, it's the Coast Guard.
On Tuesday, Senate Democrats blocked a DHS funding bill saying it didn't do enough to reform immigration enforcement. They allege Republicans are refusing to address key issues like masks, warrants, and oversight.
Until Republicans start breaking and joining us in these very reasonable demands that ICE agents follow the law, I don't know that we're going to get to consensus.
Republicans are now digging in, accusing Democrats of playing politics, with some blaming Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer.
If the minority party wants to get something accomplished, introduce a bill and try to get it through Congress, as opposed to holding all Americans hostage.
With negotiations stalled, DHS employees are now in limbo, with some set to receive only half their paychecks this week. If the funding fight drags on, many will miss a full paycheck in March. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem also saying today the shutdown could impact preparations for the FIFA World Cup and the America 250 celebrations. In Washington, Mike Emanuel, Fox News.
Well, President Trump's new 10% tariffs are now in effect across the board for all countries. Democrats are going on the offensive against the policy on Capitol Hill. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says the president is, quote, simply lying to the American people about food and household costs. The White House insists the long-term plan will boost U.S. factory jobs, but Democrats argue American families are already paying more and warn there will not be enough votes in Congress to keep the tariffs in place. Well, during a closed-door deposition today, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton told lawmakers she has no information on Jeffrey Epstein's crimes and does not remember meeting him. On Friday, it's her husband's turn to be interviewed under oath. Fox News correspondent Rebecca Castor has more on this congressional investigation.
At a performing arts center in Chappaqua, New York, where the Clintons live, lawmakers on the House Oversight Committee got their first chance to interview the former First Lady about Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell.
We worked for 6 months to get the Clintons to come in.
The deposition took place behind closed doors, but the transcript and video will be released at a later date. On social media, Hillary Clinton shared her opening statement, which said in part, "I had no idea about their criminal activities. I do not recall ever encountering Mr. Epstein. I never flew on his plane or visited his island, home, or offices. I have nothing to add to that." She also accused GOP lawmakers of using her to distract from allegations against President Trump.
The Department of Justice continues to lead a White House cover-up.
Democrats are demanding answers from the DOJ on why some interviews with the woman who claims to be a victim of Epstein were not included in the batch of released files. The same woman made an unverified claim against President Trump, which is briefly mentioned.
The law requires the DOJ to release all the files, not just some of the files, not just the ones they pick and choose.
Neither President Trump nor the Clintons have been charged with the crime, but Democrats are hoping forcing the Clintons to testify could open the door to an under-oath interview with Trump.
We should depose the person that is mentioned in the Epstein files almost more than any other person next to Ghislaine Maxwell, and that's Donald Trump.
Former President Bill Clinton testifies tomorrow when he'll certainly be asked about his years of friendship with Epstein and his trips on his private plane. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
Austin is next with a complete look at your forecast, and later PSU prepares students for the EV revolution with a new electric truck donation.
Here's your Skywatch weather forecast from the trusted Roper Kia Weather Center.
Well, we've got some minor changes in the forecast just over the next 48 hours, but some bigger ones down the road as we head into this weekend. Let's talk about the next 48 hours. Things are looking good out there for us as we head into this evening. Even those overnight hours tonight, temperatures into the 50s by midnight. down into the 40s as we hit those overnight hours. With those clear skies out there, we could see some cooler air begin to move in. So notice some temperatures in the 30s, some areas in the low to mid 40s. So we're going to be in a comfortable spot, but we'll see some variations in temperatures without any cloud cover to blanket us or contain any of that heat. So for tonight, this evening, your moon phase forecast, it's in its waxing gibbous phase, about 74% visible. Temperatures going to be right around 42 tonight. Comfortable evening out there. Sky's going to be clear. Our next full moon, March 3rd on a Tuesday. Now, heading into tomorrow, take a look at this. We're starting in the 40s, but by 9 o'clock, we're already in the 50s. Heading into the later morning hours, we're breaking into the 60s, but it doesn't stop there. Hello 70s by the afternoon hours out there. It's going to be pretty nice. Now, sunshine for a majority of our Friday. A few scattered clouds work their way in as we head into Friday evening. An isolated drizzle or two can't be ruled out. We're going to have some moisture in. All that warm air is entering the 4 states region because all of us nice and warm even as we head into that 9 o'clock hour. Look at us still in the 50s and 60s across the region there. So some scattered cloud cover, but by the time we head into Saturday, a lot of this begins clearing out. Saturday going to be mostly sunny. 77 out there. My goodness, it's going to be a great weekend. But then look at the temperature drop. 53 on Sunday with some widespread rainfall. Everybody's going to get in on the rain for us. Let's talk about it and time this out for you. So here we are, Saturday night. Few of these showers could start creeping their way in. This is not where the widespread event begins. It's going to hold off until we get into Sunday. Notice cloud cover expands across the area. Here's our weather maker off to our south, begins moving in by the time we're heading into Sunday afternoon and evening. And notice the darker greens, maybe even a light yellow in there at times, indicating some heavier rainfall. But also notice off to the north, we have snow. We're riding a temperature gradient. Look at Kansas City, 33. Bella Vista, 52. So we're riding a very narrow temperature gradient. So some areas could be on the cooler side. Most of this going to be rain. Could there be a light wintry mix off to our far northwest? Slightly, but not anticipated. We're expecting this to be mostly rainfall for us here in the 4 states region, but all of us getting in on it, anywhere from half an inch up to about 1.5 inches. Let's talk about your 10-day forecast and what you can expect ahead. Take a look at this. Here we are heading into Monday, a little bit cooler, 50 degrees, 59 Tuesday. Look at those thunderstorm chances by the middle and late next week.
Well, the Carthage R9 School District is helping families take their first step toward kindergarten. Kindergarten First Steps at the Carthage Welcome Center gave parents a one-stop shop to enroll their children and connect with resources. Students also complete readiness screenings, checking skills like letter identification, counting, writing their name, and other basics for proper classroom placement.
They will be testing things like letter identification, ability to count, to write their name, see if they can sit still for the allotted time frame that we are given, and just get some of those basic skills under their belt.
District leaders say connecting with families early helps enrollment go smoothly and ensures students start their academic journey on the right foot. Well, still ahead, one Colgan Panthers sets a points new milestone. Plus, district tournaments kick off in the 4 states. Zach Petrick has those stories and more up next in sports.
With the weather warming and March coming, it's an indication that high school basketball has hit an important time in the year as district tournaments are underway in the 4 states. Tipping it off in Pittsburgh with top seed Colgan clashing with West Elk. Opening offensive possession for the Panthers, Jacayla Davis goes to work with the 3-dribble step back. That's money from the senior. Colgan leading later on, and look at the vision from Mariah Gilmore as this dime from the freshman finds Davis for the easy layup. But the Panther star wasn't the only one finding the bottom of the net. Gilmore dishing to Itubella Asiano at the elbow, she drains the jumper. Still in the opening quarter now. Davis, she's on the verge of history. Deflects this pass for the steal, finishing over the defender. She became the 31st girl in Kansas history to reach 2,000 career points. As Colgan cruises to the sub-state semifinals, defeating the Patriots 76-17. Now we'll hear from the Panther star after her historic night.
I knew I was pretty close just hearing about it and stuff, and it's a great accomplishment, and I couldn't have done it without my teammates, coaches, and family, and it's a great accomplishment. I'm very proud about it.
Now we move to Riverton, where the Rams take on West Franklin. In the second quarter, the Rams' Levi Mann goes across to Caden Quick, who finds a wide open Cale Forbes, who knocks down a Riverton 3-ball. It was all Rams early. Still with Riverton in the second, Tyler Reese gets inside, somehow dumps it off to Slate Wells, who adds 2 more for the Rams. They were cruising at home. They're still on offense here. Zeke Down has other plans, though. Gets the steal and the score for the visitors. Now we'll move on to the third quarter. Rams working it around to rights to Aiden Witherspoon again, who finds a wide open Forbes. He'll bury another triple. All Rams in this one. They win 66-40. New Heights taking on Marionville, looking for a trip to the district title game. Cougars up big in the third quarter. Adam Stanton passing down low to Jaden Smith, who knocks down the jumper to give New Heights a 24-point lead. They would keep piling on, though. Broderick Burns lobs it down court for Smith, who collects it and lays it in through the contact. Cougars were running away with this one. Next possession for New Heights. Stanton breaking in. He receives the pass and hooks it in the basket, and the gym is going nuts. That's Adam Stanton's 1,000th career point as a Cougar. A lot of milestones tonight as his teammates and coaches embrace him on the sideline. New Heights dominates Marionville 65-37 for a spot in championship Saturday. Joining them will be either Diamond or Pierce City, who face off in the nightcap. First quarter, Cruz Torres pump fakes it from three-point land and takes it inside for the easy layup for the Eagles' first points. Now Torres lobs it down court for Dylan Kleiboker. His shot is blocked, but Eli Gensler comes down with the board and makes the basket through the foul hoop and the harm. Pierce City rolling. Lincoln Jones tries his luck from three, and bang! The Eagles lead by 6. Now we'll go to the second quarter. Diamond still looking for its first field goal. Adam Brown pulls up from downtown and drains the triple, but the Eagles hold off the Wildcats, 46-33 the final. Webb City Lady Cardinals and Joplin Lady Eagles wrapping up their regular season. Joplin with 21 straight losses to Webb. First period, Addie Burns drives up the paint. She takes the contact, knocks it off the glass for the score. Give her one more. More in just a second. Second period, Brecklin Sargent assists Burns as she drills the three-pointer. She had 20 points on the night. The Lady Cardinals with a double-digit lead. A couple possessions later, this time it's 1,000-point scorer Abby Sargent from the corner for 3. Webb City pulls away in this one. They defeat Joplin 69-34. The win gives Webb City their first 20-win season since 2013. That's it for sports. We'll be back after the break.
A brand new electric Peterbilt truck arrives at Pittsburg State University, giving students in the automotive program a more enhanced hands-on learning experience. KOAM's Nellie Lopez gives us an insight as to how this donation is preparing students for the future of heavy diesel transportation.
A brand new electric Peterbilt truck now sits in the Pittsburg State Automotive Lab. TLG Peterbilt donated the 579 EV truck to boost hands-on learning for automotive students.
It allows us to cross over to several different classes. So our air conditioning classes can learn about the thermal management side of it. Our on-highway truck class can learn about the on-highway truck side of things. Our EV classes, our electric vehicle classes, can learn about the electric side of the truck as well.
And this truck will be used for more than just driving.
And they're all about tearing stuff down to nothing and rebuilding them. They can absolutely do that with this truck. And you know, we're here to support the university with our service and parts background at TLG. So any questions they've got, any parts that need to be replaced, we can support them in that way as well.
Jeff Vinning isn't just the director of new truck sales for TLG Peterbilt. He also graduated from PSU's automotive program 20 years ago.
We were just starting to see the Prius, we were just starting to see EVs and hybrids, and they really weren't out there in the commercial truck market. So for us to be at the leading edge of this EV revolution that we're going through right now and have that opportunity to have this truck here, yeah, it'll be an incredible way for these guys to learn more about that technology.
New wave of electric vehicles hitting the streets, creating new routes in the job field.
There's just more opportunities to continue to learn about the vehicles. But diesel heavy equipment's here to stay. It's just, again, continue to grow over the years.
In Pittsburgh, Nellie Lopez, KOAM News.
Now, Dell says the school is incredibly grateful for TLG's donation. Now, this truck is the EV version of TLG's most popular aerodynamic highway trucks and is priced around $450,000. Up next, a Metallica residency, a Mortal Kombat sequel, and deadly dancers in a Hollywood nation. Action, an action-packed ballet thriller, and a hit show announces a final season. Fox's Ashley Dvorkin has a look at these stories and more in today's Hollywood Nation.
They turn pain into beauty.
Dangerous dancers take the stage. HBO invests in more industry, and Metallica gets fans fired up in the Hollywood Nation. Metallica will debut its Life Burns Faster residency at Sphere in Las Vegas in an 8-show run starting October 1st. The legendary band will rock out its no repeat weekend tradition during the shows, aka no songs repeated on Thursdays and Saturdays. The residency will span the hits, include surprises, and immerse audiences in the experience of the venue. General sale starts March 6th.
Access changes people's lives.
HBO renewed its drama industry for a 5th and final season. Currently, audiences are tuning in to find Harper and Yasmin in a globe-trotting cat and mouse game after a fintech darling burst onto the London scene. Season 4 wraps March 1st.
You want to know what makes a hero?
It's time for the tournament. A new trailer was released for Mortal Kombat 2 starring Carl Urban as Johnny Cage. The game-to-screen sequel is in theaters May 8th.
Not everyone achieves their dream.
Plus, dancing into today's first looks is the trailer for Pretty Lethal. The action thriller stars Maddie Ziegler, Lana Condor, and Uma Thurman. It follows ballerinas on their way to a competition who seek shelter at a roadside inn when their bus breaks down. There, they meet a reclusive former ballet prodigy, and it leads to a deadly showdown, forcing them to rely on their training and skills to survive. The film streams on Prime Video March 25th. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
And that's our time for tonight. Thank you for joining us. We're going to leave you with video of sea life at the Monterey Bay Aquarium. Have a great night and an even better tomorrow.